If he doesn't value you, this Louise Hay technique will change everything. It's like something inside him awakens when you apply this method. Have you ever wondered why you always attract the same type of man? The one who seems so interested at first, but then becomes distant, like you're no longer important. One of my followers told me that after 3 failed relationships, she was about to give up on love. Each partner started out attentive and ended up indifferent. It was as if there was an unseen pattern controlling her love life. Louise Hay, a pioneer in energy healing and author of the best-selling book, You Can Heal Your Life, said this isn't a coincidence. She discovered there's a direct connection between your thoughts and how men respond to you energetically. Today, you'll understand why this pattern repeats and how a simple 7-day technique can completely transform the dynamics of your relationships. You look in the mirror and don't understand why he changed. Why that man who texted you all the time now takes hours to respond. Why he seemed so fascinated at first and now barely notices your presence. The truth is, you're not alone. This pattern repeats in the lives of thousands of women, and the cause goes far beyond his behavior. Louise Hay said, "The root of every problem in relationships is a lack of self-love." When you don't value yourself internally, you emit an energetic frequency that men unconsciously pick up on. You wake up with an anxiety you can't name. You check your phone, hoping for a message that doesn't arrive. You feel that emptiness in your chest when you realize you're, once again, clinging to someone who doesn't give you the same value. It's like there's an invisible magnet always attracting the same type of man into your life. Men who initially seem perfect but then become distant, indifferent, or even manipulative. What you don't know is that there's an energetic pattern you're emitting, a vibration that communicates to the universe, and especially to the male, subconscious, that you don't deserve to be a priority. Think of your mind as a garden. When you were a child, various seeds were planted there. Maybe you grew up seeing your parents in an unbalanced relationship. Maybe you heard that men are just like that, or that women need to fight to maintain a relationship. These beliefs grew inside you like weeds, and now, as an adult, you're reaping the fruits of that neglected garden. Louise Hay revealed something revolutionary that modern science is only beginning to understand now. Thought creates energetic patterns that literally shape your reality. When you repeatedly think, "He doesn't value me," "I'm not enough," or "I'm going to lose this relationship," you're creating a vibrational frequency that directly affects male behavior towards you. It's like you're broadcasting insecurity, and the man, even without consciously realizing it, tunes into that frequency and responds accordingly. Louise discovered this the hard way. After being abused in childhood and going through destructive relationships in her youth, she realized there was a pattern. It wasn't a coincidence that abusive men kept entering her life. "It's not what happens to you," Louise said. "It's what you tell yourself about it that creates your future." She wasn't born enlightened. Louise Hay ran away from home as a teenager, dropped out of school, and spent years in relationships that diminished her. It wasn't until she was in her 40s, after a cancer diagnosis, that she began her true journey of transformation. And that's when Louise made a discovery that would change millions of lives around the world, including her own. She realized that the male mind responds to specific energetic patterns. It's not about manipulation in a negative sense, but about understanding how feminine energy can awaken the best in a man, or, unfortunately, the worst. When you carry insecurity, fear of abandonment, or the belief that you don't deserve to be fully loved, you emit a frequency that the man picks up on a subconscious level. It's like a secret code that says, "You don't need to put in effort for me." While conventional psychologists say you need to better communicate your needs, Louise taught something deeper. You need to reprogram your energetic field. The mind is like a quantum computer. The thoughts you repeat daily are like lines of code that program your reality. And here's the surprising part. These codes directly affect male behavior. Let me ask you, have you ever noticed how on some days you feel radiant, confident, and coincidentally receive more male attention? As if something in you is shining brighter? It's not a coincidence. It's quantum physics applied to relationships. Your inner energy literally changes how men respond to you. Louise Hay discovered that there are specific affirmations and visualization techniques that literally reprogram your energetic field. And when your energy changes, male behavior changes automatically. It's not about manipulation. It's about energetic alignment. Think of it as a mirror. The man in your life is reflecting back to you your deepest beliefs about yourself and about relationships. If deep down you believe you don't deserve full attention, he will reflect that by being distant. If you carry the belief that men always cheat, he will sense that distrust and act defensively. If you've internalized that you need to fight for love, you will live in relationships that are constant battles. The revolutionary aspect of Louise Hay's approach is understanding that you don't need to change the man. You need to change the energetic code you're emitting. You've criticized yourself for years, Louise said, and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens. This is the key to transformation. When you change your inner vibration, male behavior automatically changes in response. He doesn't ignore you because he doesn't want you, but because you emit insecurity even without realizing it. He doesn't pull away because he doesn't care, but because he senses the clinginess and fear you unconsciously transmit. Now let's understand why the technique I'm going to share works so profoundly. Modern science has discovered that the male brain is programmed differently from the female brain. While women tend to process emotions using both sides of the brain, men often compartmentalize, using more specific areas. This means that the male mind responds to different stimuli, and the energy you emit is one of those powerful stimuli that directly affect how he thinks and acts in relation to you. Louise Hay understood this decades before neuroscience confirmed it. She said, "Men don't respond to your words. They respond to your energetic frequency. So you might verbally ask for attention and receive nothing, while another woman, without saying a word, receives all the attention from the same man. The difference lies in the vibration, not the words." When Louise was diagnosed with cervical cancer, instead of simply accepting conventional treatment, she embarked on a profound process of mental and emotional reprogramming. She used affirmations, visualizations, and release techniques that literally transformed her cellular energy. Doctors were perplexed when, months later, there were no more signs of cancer. Louise had discovered the transformative power of vibrational energy, and it's this same power that she applied to the area of relationships, creating a method you can use today to completely change how men respond to you. Now I'm going to share with you the 7-day technique that Louise Hay developed specifically to reprogram your vibrational frequency in relationships. This is not a technique of negative manipulation. It's a way to raise your own vibration to attract the best behavior in the men around you. It's an energetic alignment that awakens respect, admiration, and masculine desire, naturally. The technique is called the magnetic attraction mirror, and it works by reprogramming your subconscious mind and consequently altering how men respond to you. To begin, you'll need a medium-sized mirror where you can clearly see your face, a new notebook dedicated exclusively to this process, a blue or black pen, 7 minutes in the morning, and 7 minutes before bed. The number 7 is no coincidence. In numerology, 7 represents perfection and completeness. It's the number of days in the week, the number of chakras in the human body, and according to Louise Hay, the number of days needed to begin reprogramming your energetic field. For 7 consecutive days, you will follow this protocol. Upon waking, even before checking your phone or speaking to anyone, go to the mirror. Look deeply into your own eyes. Breathe deeply 3 times. Then, looking at yourself, repeat aloud with conviction. I am magnetically attractive. The men in my life feel an irresistible desire to value and prioritize me. My presence awakens the best in the masculine. I deserve fully attention and devoted love. Repeat this affirmation 7 times, maintaining eye contact with yourself in the mirror. Next, take your notebook and write the affirmation 7 times. Don't do it mechanically. Feel each word as you write. At night before bed, repeat the same process, but ADD this visualization. After repeating the affirmation in the mirror, close your eyes and visualize the man you wish to attract or transform. See him looking at you with admiration and desire. Visualize him making gestures that demonstrate value and priority, sending messages, planning dates, remembering important details about you. Visualize him magnetically drawn to your energy, unable to resist the desire to be in your presence. Feel this reality as if it's already happening. Allow your body to vibrate at this frequency of being valued and desired. Then, write the affirmation 7 times again in your notebook before going to sleep. Here's the crucial element that most people miss. You don't need to believe it works. You just need to do it. The subconscious doesn't distinguish between what you consciously believe and what you consistently repeat. As Louise Hay said, it doesn't matter how long you've been thinking a certain way. You can change. The results of this technique begin to appear at different levels. In the first 3 days, you'll notice subtle changes in how you feel about yourself. A new confidence begins to emerge. Between the 4th and 5th days, you begin to notice changes in how people around you, not just men, respond to you, as if your presence were more magnetic. And from the 6th day, that's when the magic really happens in your romantic relationships. The man who was distant begins to feel an inexplicable need to reconnect. The one who seemed uninterested suddenly remembers you. It's as if something in your energetic field has been reconfigured, and the masculine response follows naturally. One follower told me that after 5 days of practicing this technique, the man who hadn't responded to her messages for weeks suddenly called asking how she was. Another notable case was a woman whose boyfriend had ended the relationship, and after 7 days of practice, he asked to talk about giving it another chance. Louise Hay explained that this happens because you literally alter your vibrational code. And when your vibration changes, the reality around you has no choice but to respond differently. Important. This technique is not about manipulating someone to do what you want. It's about releasing the energetic blockages that prevent the man from expressing his true appreciation for you. As Louise said, we're not creating anything new. We're just removing the blockages so that natural love can flow. What many people don't understand is that this technique doesn't work by magic or coincidence. It works because it literally reprograms the neural pathways in your brain and consequently alters your energetic field. When Louise Hay developed this method, she was decades ahead of modern neuroscience. Today, studies on neuroplasticity confirm what she already knew. Repeating positive affirmations while looking in the mirror creates new neural connections that gradually replace limiting patterns. But there's an additional element that makes this technique particularly powerful for transforming relationships. The masculine mind operates at a different frequency than the feminine. The male brain is evolutionarily programmed to seek challenges and value what is not readily available. When you emit a vibration of neediness or lack, you activate in the man an unconscious mechanism of withdrawal. That's why often the more you try to please a man, the more he pulls away. And the more you demonstrate emotional independence, the more he draws closer. The magnetic attraction mirror technique works because it reprograms your vibrational frequency to one of completeness. When you feel complete, you emit an energy that the man perceives as magnetic and challenging. Louise Hay discovered this when she studied the energetic patterns in relationships. She noticed that women who naturally attracted male devotion weren't necessarily the most beautiful or intelligent. They were the ones who possessed an energetic field of self-confidence and completeness. During the 7 days of practice, something profound happens within you. The hippocampus and amygdala, brain regions responsible for emotional memory and fear responses, begin creating new neural pathways. The old networks associated with insecurity and fear of abandonment weaken, while new networks associated with security and completeness strengthen. There's a critical element I need to highlight: the power of nighttime visualization. When you visualize the man responding positively to you before sleep, you activate the brain's glymphatic system, a cleansing process that occurs during deep sleep, which helps consolidate new beliefs. This is a secret Louise rarely shared publicly, but it was part of her personal practice. She knew that the period between waking consciousness and sleep is a direct portal to the subconscious. It's in this transitional state that you can plant seeds that will blossom in your energetic field. An important detail: during these 7 days, it's essential that you practice detachment from the outcome. It seems contradictory, but it's precisely when you apply the technique without obsessing over results that it becomes more potent. Louise Hay called this surrendering to the universe. You plant the seed intentionally and then allow it to grow naturally, without checking the soil every minute. In practice, this means not obsessively checking if the man has already responded, if he's noticed the change, if he's already showing more interest. This anxiety emits a frequency that contradicts the work you're doing with the technique. Another layer of this technique that few people know is the power of cellular reprogramming. Louise Hay discovered that every cell in our body has memory and responds to our thoughts and words. When you look in the mirror and repeat the affirmations 7 times, you're literally speaking to the trillions of cells in your body, reprogramming them to vibrate at a frequency of magnetic attraction. That's why some practitioners report changes not only in their relationships, but also in their physical appearance. Skin seems more radiant, eyes brighter, posture more confident. This physical transformation is not an illusion. It's a direct result of the vibrational shift that begins at the cellular level. One practitioner told me that after completing the 7 days, not only did her ex-boyfriend reach out. But 3 other men who had barely noticed her presence before started showing interest. Her magnetic field had expanded. Now let's delve deeper into the technique with some additional details that will make all the difference. When you're in front of the mirror repeating your affirmation, observe how you breathe. Shallow breathing indicates unconscious resistance. Breathe deeply as you speak, allowing the oxygen to carry the vibration of the words to every cell in your body. When writing the affirmations 7 times in your notebook, use your non-dominant hand for at least one of those repetitions. If you're right-handed, use your left hand. If you're left-handed, use your right hand. This accesses the less utilized cerebral hemisphere and potentiates neural reprogramming. During nighttime visualization, add sensory elements. Don't just see the man responding positively, but hear the tone of his voice, feel his touch, notice the scent of his cologne. The more senses you engage, the more real the experience becomes for your subconscious. Louise Hay discovered that by adding this sensory dimension to visualization, reprogramming happens 70% faster. An advanced element of the technique that you can incorporate after the 3rd day is physical anchoring. After repeating your affirmation in the mirror, lightly touch the center of your chest, the heart chakra region, and feel a golden warmth expanding from that point. This physical gesture anchors the new vibration in your energetic field. Over time, just that touch to the center of your chest can instantly evoke the vibrational state of being magnetically attractive. Louise used to say, "Don't underestimate the power of small rituals. They are shortcuts to elevated vibrational states. By the end of the 7 days, something remarkable will have happened in your energetic field." Women report a sense of inner calm and certainty they'd never experienced before. It's as if they've finally found their center of power. And it's precisely this centered energy that men find irresistible. We're not just talking about attracting superficial male attention. We're talking about awakening in the man a deep desire to value, protect, and prioritize you. To activate in him the natural instinct of devotion. When a woman finds her true frequency, Louise used to say, she doesn't need to chase or beg for male attention. She becomes the sun, and men naturally orbit around her. There's a crucial aspect of the technique I need to emphasize. Consistency. If you skip even a single day during the 7, the reprogramming process is interrupted, and you'll need to start again. It's like reprogramming a computer. The code needs to be inserted completely to work. Louise Hay discovered this when she accompanied women applying her techniques. Those who followed the complete protocol for 7 consecutive days experienced profound transformations. Those who skipped days or applied it partially saw minimal or temporary results. Modern neuroscience explains this through the concept of neural consolidation. For new neural connections to become permanent, they need to be consistently reinforced for a minimum period of time. 7 days is the minimum necessary to initiate this consolidation. 21 days is ideal to make it permanent. Therefore, many practitioners choose to continue the technique for 3 complete 7-day cycles, totaling 21 days. The result is such a deep reprogramming that it becomes your new, natural vibrational pattern. Now you might be wondering, what if the man I'm interested in isn't even present in my life currently? Does the technique still work? The answer is yes, and in an even more powerful way. When you reprogram your vibrational field without the interference of the current interaction with a specific man, the transformation tends to be purer and more complete. It's like planting a seed in virgin soil. it grows stronger and healthier. Practitioner who had ended a relationship over a year ago and had no contact with her ex-partner applied the technique focusing on him during her visualizations. On the 8th day, a day after completing the 7-day cycle, she received a message from him asking how she was and saying he'd been thinking about her a lot. Coincidence? Louise Hay would say there are no coincidences, only energetic alignments. When you shift your vibration, you create ripples in the quantum field. Ripples that extend far beyond your physical presence. People who've been energetically connected to you in the past feel this shift, even from a distance. That's why, during this technique, many women report that men from their past, men they haven't spoken to in years, suddenly send messages or reappear in their lives. Your magnetic field expands, attracting not only new connections, but also reconnecting with old ones when there's vibrational alignment. There's an interesting phenomenon Louise observed in her decades of work with energy transformation, the rebound effect. In the early days of the technique, especially between the 3rd and 5th days, you might notice the man in question seems even more distant or disinterested. This isn't a sign the technique isn't working. On the contrary, it's evidence that a deep, energetic recalibration is happening. It's as if the masculine energy field is testing the solidity of your new vibration. It's an unconscious test to see if you'll revert to old patterns of insecurity and clinginess, if you remain steady in your practice without letting this apparent distance affect your new vibrational frequency. Something remarkable usually happens on the 6th or 7th day, a sudden and intense reconnection. It's as if an invisible resistance gives way, and the man feels an irresistible urge to approach you with renewed intensity. Louise called this the surrender of the masculine ego. It's the moment when his unconscious resistance yields to the magnetic attraction of your new vibration. An important observation. Sometimes, the technique reveals that a particular man isn't vibrationally aligned with your best self. In that case, instead of bringing him closer, the technique might create a permanent distance.